Dr. Babin is recognized for 5
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate all of you being here today. Very, very interesting. Mr. Beggar, can you please describe the misconceptions that many people have of coal and why technological innovation can help clear up some of these misconceptions? If you would elaborate, please.
Mr. Chairman, Congressman, one of our biggest goals, I mean, the reason why Wyoming is involved in this is to figure out how can we ensure the long-term viability of a natural resource the state has. You know, a third of Wyoming's tax revenue is directly dependent upon the coal industry. The benefits of coal are pretty evident. It's the reason why the country has been using it for years. It's why China's using it, why we see these industrialized nations using more and more of coal, is it's reliable, it's stable, you can put it on a pile somewhere, you don't need a pipeline. It is a very great fuel for beginning an energy industry. And so I think our challenge now is how can we use that understanding societal's drive and demand towards lower carbon standards. You know, in the past, you know, nobody talks about acid rain anymore. It's because we developed scrubbers. The smog, you know, you see those old pictures from Pittsburgh and, you know, Detroit 50 years ago. We don't have those sort of things anymore because we developed, you know, bag houses and electrostatic precipitators. And so Wyoming's approach is, let's look at climate change as a political, or excuse me, as an engineering challenge, and not a political football, because industry time and time again has shown that given enough time and enough resources, we can engineer a solution and find that win-win. You know, let's remove CO2 and we can find an economic incentive to do so. That's great.
I appreciate that. That's very fascinating. And being from Texas, my district is over on the east side, where we produce a lot of natural gas. And yet 60% of our electricity in my district comes from coal-fired plants. Thank you very much. Dr. Aines, your research, in your prepared testimony, you mentioned the carbon economy and the future potential for growth and utilizing carbon as an input for manufacturing or industry. Both carbon dioxide and natural gas will be the main inputs to produce products from a carbon economy. Why is it important to have fossil energy research and development funding focus on all fossil fuels?
There are many options needed in an economy as large and diverse as ours, and we simply can't afford to pick winners. It's certainly not my job to pick winners. It's my job to deliver solutions, and that's why we need research across the entire gamut.
Thank you very much. And Dr. Brun, in your opinion, how quickly, if you've already spoken about this, stop me, but I don't think you have, will supercritical carbon dioxide power cycles begin to replace traditional steam and air cycles? And could investments by the energy sector in supercritical carbon technology help us to continue to take advantage of our abundant and affordable fossil energy?
Yeah, I think we can see on the low temperature waste heat recovery side, we can probably see something in the next 3 to 5 years. Obviously, there's hundreds and hundreds of power plants, so it's not just an easy replacement. But I can foresee in the next 10, 15 years quite an impact from supercritical CO2 in replacement of, especially of steam cycles. On the air cycle, that's going to take a little longer, but probably 10 to 15 years. Okay. The technology is moving fairly fast there.
Yeah, glad to hear. And Ms. Angielski, can you give an example of carbon capture, utilization, or storage research through investments by fossil energy industry that could lead to an advanced carbon-based technology?
There are several that were discussed here today. So certainly the supercritical CO2 cycles. We identify several technologies in our roadmap, including pressurized oxygen combustion, which was described here today. We have some carbon capture technologies that are looking for testing right now that once tested could actually begin to have commercial offerings available. So there are a suite of technologies which from our perspective is very important to make sure that we have a diverse portfolio of technologies and that we're not just picking winners, as already discussed.
Right.
And so, but there are several technologies identified in the roadmap that are readying for that testing to be able to then take that piece of paper to a financier and say we can offer commercial guarantees. So.
Thank you, and I yield back, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. The gentleman from Alabama, Mo Brooks.